Hello everyone. Let's see if I can play a good game of Chess960. So okay, d4. I think I'm gonna go for g6. Threatens the pawn here. It does would have allowed queen h6, but okay, that didn't happen. I wondered if I make the board a bit bigger. Okay, here we go. So, what should I do? I should play this out of the way so that I can move my queen, but and try the castle. Should I go for e5 though? Well, no, I'm just gonna play d5. I'm wasting almost, well, a bit over a minute just to play these moves. Wow. And I'm gonna do this. I should have gone for the d6 and possible e5 idea. I kinda wanna do this. For reasons, I guess knight e3 is something that my opponent will play on the next move. And actually this queen is a bit restricting my development. I would have, well, wow, goes to d2, eh? And this knight cannot actually activate itself just yet. But this can, and I'm gonna go to c6 with it. Bring more pressure to the d4 pawn. Okay, that happened. Well, I'm basically forced to play e6 at some point. This is kinda horrible. I don't know why I actually thought that playing d5 was a good idea. Maybe because I have played with similar ideas before, but I'm playing a6 in order to play queen d6 and knight to d7. This is kinda lame, but whatever. I'm gonna do this now, then play my knight here. I don't know, this probably is the second loss in a row. Just lost to a player who was rated about 1700. I had to double exchange more, and even then I managed to mess things up. So today games have gone really badly. And of course I'm extremely tired. At the moment. Can't really sleep properly, but okay, never mind that. Knight to f6. Maybe to go to e4 with the knight. And hope that my opponent takes it so that I can activate this bishop. Otherwise, I'm not sure what to do. So okay, that's a plan anyway. Knight to e4. And trying to activate this bishop. This does allow knight c5 momentarily, but I don't think it matters much. I'm actually not sure what the purpose of the move queen e2 was. I mean, it doesn't do all that much there. Maybe to try play bishop f3, queen here, but even then, well, in that case this queen e2 move was quite useless. Maybe do trying to protect the move g4, but even there I did stop it for now, at least. But of course I'm gonna try and play my knight to e4, which I can now do unchallenged, unfortunately. I could go b6, but I don't think that's a good idea. Let's see what happens when I do this. Kinda hope bishop takes. Sorry about that. Bishop takes, so that I can take back with the d-pawn. Okay, that move, don't really care about that just yet. I don't want to castle all that much, and if I do, I may want to do it to the king side. So I'm gonna play bishop f7 just to enable the possibility for a casual short. I also want to, well, actually b6 is impossible because of knight takes a6. Now how I can actually do this? If I do that, it doesn't matter much, I guess a3 is the thing that my opponent plays after that. I'm gonna play this and b6, but it probably isn't a good idea. Of course, if I can play b6, that would be awesome. But I think a3, and I have to go back with the knight. However, a3, b6 takes on here, I take here, pawn takes. My opponent is up a pawn there. Not a variation that I would actually like. So actually now, well, that enabled b6, which I'm happy about. And that is even better. Now I can activate this bishop. get more squares for my pieces. I think I have to... I think I should castle long and go with forward with bishop... sorry, pawns. And... yes, I'm considering e6, which would be a good move if my opponent would take on f5. Otherwise it's not so good. And I guess I'm not going to castle long. However, I might do this. The idea is of course a4. Knight moves somewhere and maybe I can take on a2. But okay, that idea didn't work, so... And moving the knight here was actually bad too, in some ways. Okay, I'm gonna take it. Queen here and threatening bishop h5. Nah, not a good idea probably. So I could, if I'm allowed, to play queen here, play a4, and well, okay, that did not work. I mean, it does not going to work. I'm gonna do this just so that I can prevent d5 and get a square for my knight to retreat. But I guess c5 is the idea here. However, my opponent probably wants to go rook to g1. So I'm gonna take the g file first. I'm not going to castle. Thing is, well, I'm gonna play king b7, whatever. Maybe get the... And I'm not going to take it. For obvious reasons. I let my opponent take there. And yes, I'm quite certain that I missed yet another game. Well, there is some possibilities. Rook c8, of course, after that move. In order to protect the knight here a bit more. I don't know what happens here, but I think I'm gonna play bishop here. And actually, knight check is annoying. Very much so. Wow. I think I'm lost. after knight c5's check. I was just worried about knight takes a5, but wow. If I go here, queen check and mate soon. Maybe that isn't actually king a8. And knight goes in between. It doesn't actually matter. Queen b7 is still mate. Wow. I wonder. Didn't play that. And allowed me to do some tricks of my own. Which might not actually be all that good. Rook takes here. Probably good move. Well, actually no. Okay, knight check. Well, I'm going to go here. Wow. If I somehow survive this, I'm really a lucky man if that happens, but I doubt it will. Thing is, where to put the queen? Maybe it's not that easy. I'm going to check here. Then I'm going to take the queen. And possibly take the knight next. Okay, that move I think I'm gonna play here. And yes, I'm gonna take the knight. If he takes my knight, I take with the bishop. And well, okay. I'm glad that my opponent didn't pin the bishop. Of course I sacrificed that guy now, but I want to play bishop to that square. And of course my opponent is very low on time. Which means I can do this. And take on a5 and allow this to happen. Phew. I did get some points back that I lost in the previous game. Okay, let's look at the game a bit. So okay, my opponent I guess wanted to see the computer evaluation of the game, which I probably should have requested as well. But of course, yeah, let's wait for a while for it to be complete. Okay, at first it seemed that I didn't make any mistakes or inaccuracies, but okay, here they are obviously growing as the analysis gets further. Also, I'm not all that convinced how accurate these analyses actually are, because it does it so quickly. But I guess it does give some idea on how the game went. So, okay, I think the analysis is complete, but I actually want to see how the moves that we made compare to those that have already been played. And okay, so the move g3 was some, I mean, what the, no, d5 actually, no, yeah, d5 was the move I chose, and it had not been played before. Knight of e6, c5 and f5 been played before. Most common g3, and obviously, well, a good move, e4, sure, probably not the ideal opener in this starting position, mainly because it blocks a bit the path of this light squared bishop. But okay, it's still a decent idea. f4, an idea to consider for sure, putting immediate pressure to the a7 pawn. G4, also an interesting idea, but perhaps a move I would not make, because chances are it gets easily attacked by, let's say, d6, and I mean, if I play d6, queen attacks g4 immediately, so I'm not convinced that it should be played. And black scores quite well after that. Average rating 1738, not that high. Yeah, mostly these are in the 1800s average rating of the players. Well, that's a bit surprising, I guess. d3. But actually d3 does make sense, because in this position I played d5, but I should remember this and actually play d6 instead. Mostly because so that the bishop on g8 does not get behind this pawn. It does get really hard to trying to activate this bishop after d5 has been played. And d6 because I want the queen wants to go here somewhere out of the way, so that castles might come. Though I'm not quite convinced of the idea of playing d6 and e5. It might be an idea trying to open the lines. Certainly would have been much more comfortable if I would have been able to get into that position. But yeah, well, let's see what the real mistake was. In accuracy it says best move was a5. Well, of course, like I said during the game, knight b4. Bit silly move, because a3, and I would have needed to come back, but okay, my opponent didn't do that, so a5, a3, b6, knight takes, pawn takes. Actually, this is something that I don't think white should do. Mainly because of the reply d takes e4, now the bishop is more active. However, it might lead into similar position like in the game, c4 and c5, so actually that taking on e4 might have been good in that sense. And taking on e4 with the d-pawn might not have been as good as I thought, and would need to control c4 a bit more. Interesting ideas though. Anyway, next idea, g4. Well, and it was a bad one. Of course, a3 is much better. However, let's look the game a bit further. Queen d5, well... Oh yes, the idea being that c4 is not that easily played after the queen is here and the bishop here. My opponent would need to play rook here, for example, or knight to d2 and then play c4. But of course, moving the knight would be really problematic when the queen bishop battery is here, aiming on a2. So yeah, this queen d5 should have been in the move that I played, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not actually in the best shape possible to play at the moment, I guess, but okay, e6 quite meh. Because I end up doing this anyway, I should have probably played e6 before, so that I could have taken on f5 with the e pawn. But okay, that's not the position I'm interested in. Yeah. Bishop e8. A terrible, terrible move. Allowing knight c5. And lights would have been indeed out after that. Well, it's bad because it leaves the defense of the e6 pawn, meaning that I will lose either material or get mated after knight c5, but I was very surprised to see this move. I'm not sure why knight c5 wasn't played. And okay, it seems it actually was a good move. I wasn't sure, even after that, that I would be winning here. But okay, queen takes and rook c7 check. Okay, about here the game is quite easy. Bishop g3. The idea only is to block the g file so that my rook can't get so active. But I would have probably played rook b8 there somewhere and then played bishop d3 check. Okay, yeah, this I planned. I of course saw this possibilities, therefore I didn't actually defend the pawn directly. And the game is easily won after that. Alright, thank you all for watching and until next time.